also the BMW 318 to contend with.
Well, I suppose that's true. Audi would like nothing better than for the 80 to steal some sales away from the BMW 318i. I don't fancy their chances personally.
What we have in the Audi 80 is the current generation of Audi 90 with less stuff and a lower price tag. It has the same body and drivetrain but cannot be had with four-wheel drive or a multi-valve engine. It's an entry-level 90, in other words. But that's not to say it's a stripper. Standard equipment includes power windows, air conditioning, central locking, heated front seats, and driving lights. There are few options. Anti-locking brakes, automatic transmission, alloy wheels, and cruise control among them. Like the Audi 90 Quattro, the 80 is a pleasant surprise in terms of comfort and drivability. My only real gripe with the 90 was a definite lack of power and low RPMs, and that shortcoming is still evident in the 80. It has a 2.3-liter, 5-cylinder engine developing 130 horsepower at 5,600 RPM, and it leaves you wanting more snap in first and second. It's slightly better than the 90 Quattro, but far too anemic under 3,000 RPM. Our test car came with a 5-speed manual gearbox, but a 4-speed automatic is available. The 80 is not what I'd classify as a pavement pounder, but it doesn't need to be run quite as hard as the 90. From a dead stop, it'll reach 100 kilometers an hour in about 10 seconds. Fuel consumption is decent, but not outstanding, about 11.7 liters per 100 kilometers combined rating. Base price is $27,995 with another $1,000 for the automatic. Audi offer a 4-year, 100,000-kilometer basic warranty, one of the longest in the business. Like most Audis, to really appreciate the 80, high engine speeds are suggested. Once it hits its power band, around 3,500 RPM, the 80 develops a different personality. From there up to redline, 6,000 RPM, it's more agile and extremely responsive. It also has superb brakes and a much lighter feel to it than the 90, with a smaller turning radius and much better manners in city driving. Inside, elbow room is remarkable for a car of this size. None of the claustrophobia that comes with some European sedans, and about 86 cubic feet of interior volume. And plenty of backseat legroom. I think Audi does one of the best jobs in the business when it comes to interior layout. And, like all of their products, the 80 is built like a brick shipyard, extremely well constructed and finished. I do have a couple of criticisms, though. First of all, I know it may be a small point, and I'm sure Volkswagen Audi has a good reason for it, but why are all their products equipped with a radio that stays on after you shut the car off? And why are anti-locking brakes optional with the 80? Can you price tag on safety? And the car desperately needs more low-end grunt. Yes, it sings at high RPMs, but not everybody wants to drive it that way. Still, it has a reasonable price tag, and is one of the more thoughtfully designed cars on the market, so the 80 should do well, theoretically. BMW's new 3 Series is Audi's strongest rival here, and as mentioned, the existing 318 is also serious competition for Audi, and so are the Acura Vigor, Nissan Maxima, Infiniti G20, Saab 900, Volvo 740, Alfa Romeo 164, Subaru Legacy Turbo, and Lexus ES 300. I can only give it a driving dollar value with 3/4 of a tank, Tony. I liked it an awful lot, but I just think it's overpriced.
Well, it is a little expensive, but I like the car a lot too, but I have to take issue with one or two of your points. This business of acceleration, Audi often gets criticized for acceleration, but I don't think the company's obsessed with off-the-mark acceleration times. Mid-range acceleration is very, very good, and that's where you really need it.
Yeah,
you know?
but you need that low-end snap in urban driving. When you're going away from a stoplight, you want to get up to 30 miles an hour in a good clip. You don't want to be passed by guys on bicycles.
Well, I'm not sure about that, Ted. I think these days there's so many people running through red lights that I take a real pause before I take off these days when it turns green. But on the other hand, other things, the radio staying on, I don't mind that, actually. I don't mind the radio staying on. I believe they changed it for 92. They're not doing that anymore.
About time, too.
But I was always happy with it because you can sit in the car with the ignition turned off. And I know you can, there's a setting for radio and so forth. I have a VW camper, as you know, that has the same setup, and it's perfect for a camper because you can leave the radio turned on without messing with the ignition key.
Sorry to interrupt you, but it's not something that I would stop me from buying the car. If I was going to buy the car, that would not be a deterrent. I just think it's kind of weird. My biggest problem with the car is that ABS is an option. Even the 318i stripper model, you get ABS with the car, and I think that's a big mistake on Audi's part.
You're quite right, and many of the Japanese competition is coming in with cars much cheaper than this, and they do have ABS, and I think this car should have ABS. There's no question about it. They should throw that in as part of the deal. It's just not good enough.
And what I like about this car, and it's not something you can put into words that easily, is just the feel of it. It just feels good. You get into the car, it has a good sense of balance, it's comfortable, everything is easy to get at. It just has a very good feel.
It does have a good feel. All Audis have a good feel. There are cars that are built as well, but there's very few cars, if any, that are built better than Audi. As soon as you get into the car and grab the steering wheel and start moving the switches around, it is a very well-built car and has a great feel, and that's something that a lot of companies just can't manage.
Yeah, if I had to choose between this and the 318, it would be pretty tough. I don't know which way I'd go. This thing is built so well that I don't know, it's tough.
Well, because the old 318, the old square cut one, I think I'd prefer this actually, because I like the look of this car a lot.
It does look good. It's very, very contemporary style, very European car. Anyway, we have to go to red light, green light now. Red light, power, that's the big one for me. That's about, oh really, it's power. On the other hand, the design, I love the design, very good looking car. Handling, among the best. Interior layout, I think this is maybe one of the best in the industry. Driving dollar value, as I say, 3/4 of a tank. Love this car, it's overpriced.
Well, you always were a power fiend, Ted. Stay with us, we'll be right back.